Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. So we're going to talk about Bhutan and how they got a lot of Bitcoin. We're going to talk a little bit about the SEC, about banks being able to custody Bitcoin. We're going to talk about M2 money supply and also what Kamala Harris recently said about Bitcoin and crypto. So starting out right here, we have Michael Saylor saying that Bhutan is leading the way in global Bitcoin adoption. Pretty amazing, because right here you can see that Bhutan has 13,000 Bitcoin. 13,000 Bitcoin, and I believe all of them have been either purchased or mined, whereas the Bitcoin that Ukraine has, the UK has, China has, and the US have, they have all been seized. So pretty amazing, right? Bhutan coming out of nowhere, and Celsius is most likely going to sue Bhutan. There is a complaint for a preference action, aka clawbacks, and the amount is around $100 million. So yes, Bhutan, or specifically DHI, they are the investment arm of Bhutan. Celsius is most likely going to go after them for $100 million. So we'll see what happens. And why Bhutan has been so successful at Bitcoin mining is because of its geographic location and its access to enormous amounts of hydropower. Bhutan produces so much electricity that it exports about 75% of that electricity to India. And that brings me right here to what Bill Maher said a few days ago about Bitcoin mining and just how wrong he is. Let's take a look.
All the progress that we're making with green energy is being sucked away by crypto. Crypto uses 8% of total electricity. They're data centers, they're mining, this nonsense of finding a number. I mean, I can't even go through the whole thing. It's so ridiculous what crypto really is.
That's why it's, of course, this is like Trump's final business just before the election. Of course he'd end up in crypto. It's a grifter's paradise.
It's comparable to putting 15.7 million additional gas-powered cars on the road. So as we take them off to go to electric, crypto eats it all up and goes the other way.
So Brian Armstrong of Coinbase says, rare miss from Bill Maher. Time to dig deeper on crypto and avoid spreading misinformation. And yeah, that really correlates to what Stacy said and what a lot of people understand about how Bitcoin looks for cheap power. And it allows countries and people that have access to very, very cheap electricity to monetize that electricity. The thing with Bitcoin mining that Bill Maher doesn't get is that one, his numbers are actually very, very off there. And two, Bitcoin mining is incredibly competitive and it's actually very good for the grid. So maybe I'll cover that a little bit later, but here we have Congress believes banks should be able to custody Bitcoin. 42 Congress members wrote to the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, demanding him to allow banks to custody Bitcoin. Whether or not you want to give your Bitcoin to banks, that is not really the point here, but allowing banks to custody Bitcoin is a huge step to massive, massive global adoption. And this is a really cool clip that I'm not going to play, but essentially we have guys like Robbie Mitchnick of BlackRock, who is the head of digital assets. He's coming on Bloomberg, he's going on the news, and there are other people like him basically espousing the properties of Bitcoin, how it's scarce, there's a fixed monetary policy, how it's an international asset, it's not controlled by a country. He goes on the news, and there's a lot of people like him that are going on the news essentially promoting Bitcoin and educating people about Bitcoin, which is really cool, guys. So I don't know how long you've been in Bitcoin or crypto or in this space, but there was a time not too long ago where nobody was really going on the news talking about Bitcoin positively. We had a couple people. I mean, Anthony Pompliano, I think back in 2017 was talking about it. He was a pretty big voice back then. And other people like Tom Lee, other people were kind of talking about Bitcoin on the news. Max Kaiser, but now we're getting like BlackRock basically promoting Bitcoin and educating people, which I think is really cool. So next we got this chart. This is global M2 money supply, 10-week lead to Bitcoin. And we'll see if this plays out, but essentially where we think global M2 money supply is going to go, and here the red line is Bitcoin, we can see Bitcoin heading to a $90,000, $100,000 price very shortly. And that's before we have China handing out Stimmy checks and letting banks borrow $113 billion to buy stocks. And they are also allowing people to purchase homes or second homes for cheaper. They are cutting rates on existing mortgages as well. So this chart showing global, meaning not just the US, global M2 will probably go up even higher because China is pumping money and pumping liquidity into the system, at least in their economy, which does have a massive ripple effect. So next, let's take a look here. Kamala Harris talking about blockchain.
We will invest in biomanufacturing and aerospace, remain dominant in AI and quantum computing, blockchain and other emerging technologies.
So that's the first time that I've heard her talk about blockchain in a positive light. We'll see what happens. I mean, I believe that Trump, Kamala, they will say whatever they need to say to get elected, right? So they're politicians. Obviously, we all know how that game works and how they can say whatever they want and they could change their mind or say, oh, you know what? Well, I wanted to do this, but then we couldn't get it passed, and they can make up all sorts of excuses, right? So it is a good step though, and it's good for the entire crypto industry if Kamala gets elected, because prior, Kamala, the Democrats, we have Elizabeth Warren, Gary Gensler, all that kind of stuff, they were anti-crypto, or they were not positive for crypto, right? And now we have Kamala verbally saying positive things about blockchain. Next, we got a quick update. iTrust Capital has a couple new coins you can buy inside of your retirement account. And if you're signing into iTrust for the first time in a while, they do have a new update here. And a lot of this has to do with the transition to a new custodian. So if you have an account with iTrust Capital, you got an email saying that you will be charged $125 or all that kind of stuff. What iTrust is doing is they are covering that fee. So you will not pay $125 like you got in that email. They are covering that. So the short of it is iTrust is moving from Fortress Trust right here to Fortis Bank. Very similar names, but very different companies. So just wanted to share that with you guys. A lot of people have been asking me like, what's going on here? What's going on with iTrust? Nothing is going on with iTrust. Here's my account. This is my Roth IRA. I am entirely invested in Bitcoin. But what's cool is that if you want to purchase more than just Bitcoin, you can do so. You can get all of these different altcoins, and we have a couple new ones as well. Physical gold and silver, you can actually buy these as well, which is really, really cool. Silver is actually doing very, very well lately. So anyway, just wanted to make that little update about iTrust Capital. Really quick, we have this chart, Bitcoin Power Law. A lot of people like it, some people don't, but I like charts that show we are going to go up. And this is backed by a lot of mathematics. And we are kind of right in the middle of these two channels here. And the last thing I want to look at in this video, guys, is this. And this is really, really bullish to me. It's probably one of the bullish charts that I've seen, and I'll explain why. So we have YouTube views. So why do I care about YouTube views? Well, you'll know in just a second. So right here, back in the middle of 2021, when Bitcoin first hit its all-time high of the mid-60,000s, we can see here that YouTube views were at around 4 million views. And right now we are at less than a fourth of where we were back in mid-2021 for crypto YouTube station views. Very important here. But the price of Bitcoin is essentially where it was back in mid-2021. So why is this really bullish? Well, pretty obvious. Less than a quarter of the views, but the price is where we were when we were 4x the amount of views. So what this means to me and what this shows to me is that retail has not come in yet. I think retail came in a little bit around March right here. It came in when, Andrew Tate launched his coin, and a lot of celebrities were launching, unfortunately, a lot of rugs. We saw a big spike right here for views at around 2 million. And that's also when we hit a new all-time high. But you can see that YouTube is really, really boring right now. And again, we are sitting at the same price we were in 2021. So really bullish. Let me know in the comments if you think that retail will come back into this space like they did back in 2021. And if so, what price? I think definitely at the $100,000 mark for Bitcoin, we'll see a massive surge in retail. But let me know in the comments what you think, because retail is definitely not here right now. And I think that is incredibly bullish. So guys, that is it for the video. Hope you guys are doing well. Make sure to like and subscribe if you like this video. Until next time, guys, talk with you soon, and bye for now.